my name is James Thorpe and I'm the Managing Editor of the Security Division at Centurian Media. Delighted to be here today on the Zenitel stand at the Security Event 2026, speaking with Wim van Wijn, Senior Vice President for the EMEA region. Enjoy. Wim, fantastic to be speaking with you. Can you just start by telling our viewers a little bit about yourself and your role at Zenitel, please?
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. So I'm Wim van Wijn, and I run our business in Europe, Middle East, Africa for the Safety and Security Business Unit, which is a majority of what we do. So obviously the UK is one of our biggest markets, and this is no longer a UK show. This is an international show. So meeting a lot of customers across the different European countries, a lot of Middle East customers as well. So good to be here.
Fantastic. And obviously you mentioned there here at the security event what you're showcasing. Can you just tell our audience a little bit about what you are talking to customers about on the stand, please?
Well, we obviously showcase our full lineup of intercom stations and IP speakers, but also the full lineup of the public address voice evacuation systems. And obviously what we talk about is what they ask us for is to unify all of those systems together. So we still see a lot of silos of critical audio in different installations. We see emergency phones, we see other telephony systems, we see door intercoms, we see public address, we see operational announcement systems, we see fire evacuation systems, all those kind of things. And they keep on asking us, can't we bring it all together so that we have one system to manage, but also to operate? And then people don't have to worry about, which device to go to. You just take the nearest one and you can, get help or make the announcement you want to make.
Fantastic. And you touched on some integration concepts there. We'll go there in a second. But before I jump to that point, I want to just talk a bit broadly about how you see audio improving situational awareness in security scenarios, just across the board generally, please.
Well, thanks for asking. I think that's the number one thing we try to bring across. Is obviously we've equipped security guards and security teams with a lot of technology over the last couple of decades. We gave them much better eyes. We gave them digital eyes. We gave them fish eyes. We gave them 360 eyes. So they have cameras all over the place. Fantastic. They can see literally every corner of a building. We gave them automated access control. Fantastic. They no longer have to protect the gate themselves. So that's great. But in a lot of cases, we forgot to give them ears and a voice to speak, right? So we have what we call blind and silent security systems. And that's not really helpful, right? If you walk in a dangerous situation yourself and you cover your ears and you can't even speak, you don't feel safe. So we definitely bring audio now. We see that the demands for audio are increasing. And what you said is right. It's first increased situational awareness. Just hearing background noise, specific sounds, screams, gunshot is a perfect way to kind of pre-alert you. It doesn't mean that you don't need video cameras anymore. Of course, after the alert, you verify what's really happening. But if you combine those two technologies together, you have much more. You understand much better what is happening. You have the visual and then you have the audio. Those together. Last thing as well is you also add proactivity in it, right? If you see something, you can alert people on site. You can talk to intruders, or you can have automated messages. So you kind of make the whole system more responsive as well.
Fantastic. And that combination is like I mentioned a second ago, that ties into your integrated approach. And I want to explore specifically the standards part of it, but also the open protocol part of it. How much does that feed into, I guess, that concept of giving the ears to the operation and complementing those other technologies?
Well, I call standards and open protocols as the ticket to play. Yeah. Systems that don't use open standards, that don't use the protocols, they're not even allowed in anymore, right? So that is a ticket to play. But it doesn't stop there. For me, there's a second layer of integration, and that makes it much more smarter, and it's called open APIs. So when you have your APIs, you can actually make two systems behave as one. And that brings enormous value to the operators, to the people using it. There's a third layer, and that's the one that is really interesting, and we see it more and more, and that's where you start to define complex security workflows. I call it workflow integration. Now, all of a sudden, you kind of translate your security procedures into a dynamic workflow in your system. You say, if camera sees this, if access control things needs to behave like that, an audio system needs to do that. And once you do that, you kind of automate all those systems together. So open protocols, ticket to play. Without it, you're not invited to the party. Open APIs, much more useful and much more interesting from a user perspective. And workflow integration, holy grail. That's where we need to be.
Fantastic. And I guess generally when we're looking at that broader picture of the physical security landscape, you talked about things like CCTV, which a lot of customers will be familiar with, also access control. But when you look at audio's role in that landscape, it's obviously such an exciting space to be in, and it's why you're such leaders in this market. But what does that look like going forward? How does audio's role continue to develop?
Well, as I said before, more and more demand for audio. So more and more security associations, security customers, they care more about audio. So that's a good thing. Audio is becoming smarter and smarter. I think it's fair to say that in terms of audio analytics, we're probably 5 to 10 years behind video analytics, right? Not because it's a more complex algorithms or more complex things to do, but it felt like there was first the need for kind of detection of what's happening in the video screen, and now we see that coming to audio as well. So audio is becoming smarter, audio is becoming much better integrated into the other system, a very big thing. As we said before, an isolated audio system has a certain value, an integrated has much more value, so we see smarter audio, better integration, and of course more and more devices and convergence at the audio center itself. So what I said before, 4 or 5 different audio systems, that's not the infrastructure of the future. What we see today is one critical audio platform that combines all the different needs. That's where I think we have a role to play. That's where Zenitel wants to play. That's everything we do, but we do it right well. So.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing your insights with me.
No, thank you. Thank you so much.